You're one of those players who, when they get to a little shot off the green here, you don't play it properly, you thin it. We've got to stop thinning those chip shots because you've done all the work to get here. There's nothing more frustrating than hitting one of these and having it run across the green. Well, perhaps there is if there's a bunker or water on the other side of the green there. Hi, I'm Peter Knight. Today we're going to talk about stop hitting those thin shots, and it's videos like these that I've made to help you become a better golfer and play your best golf, enjoy more golf on the golf course. I've been coaching for 40 years. I think I probably need to say that quite quickly. Anywhere from beginners, young players, through to older players, national teams, state teams, international teams and professionals. So I'm sure that the information that I've got is going to help you as well with your golf. So please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon so that you can get every video that I put out, which is once a week. Let's look today at what you can do to stop hitting those thin chip shots. So let's have a look at the key things that we can do that are going to help us avoid thinning these chip shots. So the most obvious one to understand at the moment, to begin with, is that when the club swings through at the wrong height. So if I swing the club through and the club doesn't meet the ground, I've swung it through too high. That's my thin shot. If I swing it through too low, it hits the ground before it gets to the ball. That's a fat shot or a chunk shot or a heavy shot, all the same thing. If I swing the club through at the correct height, then it'll strike the ball and the ground at about the same time, so I'm striking it correctly. So my first objective is to get the feeling of letting the club swing through at the correct height. So there's a number of things that we're going to cover. The first is the recognition of the height of that swing. The second thing is that when the club swings back and through, I want to minimize my wrist movement during the stroke. So the chip shot is a precision shot, not a power shot, so we don't need a lot of movement through the hands and wrists. My body's unlocked and my arms and the club are going to move freely, but there's no extra work with my hands. So as the club swings back and through, when I'm swinging the club, there's virtually no wrist movement whatsoever. I can feel a little bit of play there, so there is something going on, but it's not me deliberately moving my hands. The next point is that when I set myself up to play the shot, my hands are just over the ball. When I hit the ball, my hands are actually going to be a little bit further forward. Now, the only way that I can have my hands further forward in impact than what they are at address is that when I swing the club back, I'm allowing the weight of the club head to move my wrists. So here's the difference between me using my hands and allowing the club or the club's weight to actually act on my hands. I want the second one. So as the club swings back and through, there's this tiny little movement which allows the ball to come out nice and low. If I use my hands, then I'm likely to hit the ground in the wrong spot or hit the ball too high. I can otherwise lose control of my distance because I'm just doing too much with a shot. The third thing is that when I go back and through, I want to keep my movement, particularly the downswing movement, reasonably slow. When I'm anxious, my tendency is going to be to make the downswing quite quick. It's like an unconscious thing or a nervous thing, or I want to get the shot over quickly, or I want to make a little swing and just contact the ball because the longer that I swing, the further I swing it back, the more risk I'm running. These are the things that sort of run through players' heads. If you're that player who does tend to feel like they stab at the ball, which can easily cause that thin shot, can also cause the fat shot as well, then feel like your downswing is slow. Don't worry about making your backswing slow, just your downswing. The faster the downswing, the more difficult it is to control the speed of the club head through impact. So even if you do strike it correctly, it's likely to go too short or too long, typically too long. So my downswing speed is going to be nice low, and then I'll get a good shot away from there. The final thing is practicing it and also trusting the motion. Now obviously the trust, or which is, you know, a sense of confidence, comes from successes. The best way to do it is to cover off on all these points. So when you swing the club, recognize that the shaft is going to be leaning a bit further forward at impact than what it is at address. And you can do that because your wrists are not active during the stroke. The second thing is just that, your wrists are actually quite passive during the stroke, so there's no active hands. And the third is that the club, when it swings down and through, you feel like the pace of the club is quite slow. That'll allow the club to get back to the ball correctly and stop hitting those thin shots.